Hi, Scott. Can you hear me? Scott, can you hear me? I can't see you. I can't see you on that. Ah, there we go. Hi, Scott. Hello. You're on mute.
Oh, aye, I forgot about Zoom. How
No,
are we?
it's all right. We're all good. I'm just going to post a live link on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Uh,
What? So it looks as if your Facebook page has just disappeared from my feed.
aye.
I don't know what happened there.
No, me neither, actually. Hang on. Join us for part two live here. So, I mean, this is it's quite good for your point of view because we get to join us for part two with Scott live here. All right, so anybody that wants to watch it. I mean, the only thing about that is we don't get the interaction, but
Yep.
just to keep the flow of the conversation going. So this is part two. We heard in the first part, if anybody wants to watch it, they can go back onto our Facebook page and watch it. It'll be there probably for the next 30 days. We heard about your own personal recovery and how you got into recovery, and we were just about to start talking about what you're doing now to serve the community. So tell me a wee bit about that, Scott. How did you get into how did the East End Walk and Talk group come about?
It was it was a series of events that what happened when. So obviously I got through the program. Uh, I managed to leave my old ways, like my old ways of money. Like I put that aside and I got a job as a taxi driver. I'm actually a joiner to trade, but I went back to the building sites for a bit, and it wasn't a good environment for me. Still, it's wide. There's addiction, alcoholism in the building trade is rife, and I felt uneasy at it and at the start. So long story short, I got a private hire taxi, and I started working as a taxi driver, clean and sober, starting to build myself up and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And it was like these people were getting put into my path. Right, there was like at least one or two people a day around about Glasgow, especially the East End, were getting into my car, and and they were able to, one reason or another, people were starting to open up to me. Day in and day out, I was hearing about troubles. I was hearing about addiction. I was hearing about gambling. I was hearing about trauma. I was hearing about, you name it, Annemarie. I heard it,
Uh-huh.
and I kept thinking to myself, in my head, I'm like a counsellor in here. I
Uh-huh.
feel like a counsellor, you know that, and but it was good for me.
Uh-huh.
I, I got something with it. I was able. I don't know how many 12 people have 12 stepped, man, on this in this taxi. Do you know what I mean? I've managed to signpost people to places, like to help them with their issues, and then I had this idea of trying to support people in the East End. All right, I thought to myself, something needs to be done, man. It's like there's so many people struggling, and I feel that they don't have the proper support, the proper people with lived experience and stuff. And I'll tell you the truth, right? I didn't have the guts, right, to start, and I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. But one one new year, and this was a turning point for me. One new year, I picked up a lassie,
Uh-huh.
6 in the morning, New Year's Day. She
Uh-huh.
jumped into the front, which is quite unusual for a young girl to come in, and I knew something was going on with her. I just could tell with her energy, her face, that she was disturbed.
Yeah.
I broke the ice with her, and I was like, "What's going on in that?" And and she just looked me square in the eyes and said she'd had enough of life and she was going to kill herself.
Oh.
When she get back to where she was housed at a women's refuge,
Uh-huh.
and in the moment I managed to break her thinking, Annemarie. I managed to we went and grabbed a coffee from McDonald's. I opened up to her a bit about my stuff. She opened up to me a bit about her stuff, and in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm going to try and get somebody, a woman for recovery, to have a word with her.
Mm-hmm.
A long story short, without exposing too much, she'd suffered major trauma, the same as most people that I know. And I got her number. I actually said, you know what, I'll give you my number, and but I said, it's going to promise me there'll be people in the refuge who is there for support. She'd only been in the place 3 days. She'd been on a bender and whatever. And she's like, I don't want to talk to anybody about it and stuff like that. And I says, listen, please, if you don't want to speak to anybody, drop me a message. I'll get somebody who can relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
I finished my shift, went in my bed, Annemarie, and I woke up with a message for her basically saying, thanks for last night. I think you saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I just thought, that's it. I'm going to do something. Like I had to do something. Annemarie, I just couldn't sit back and let people suffer, and I toyed with the idea. I didn't know what to do and stuff. And then I thought that I came up with the walk and talk group. I came up with this idea that I could maybe create a safe space for people to just walk and talk, and maybe unload a bit of their issues,
Yeah.
and that's where it came from. After that incident,
Yeah.
after that incident, I came up with the idea of the walk and talk group.
Uh-huh.
From then, so I just set it up. I was absolutely shitting it, but I knew it was my duty to do it. I just knew, Annemarie. I just knew that I had to try and just give something back to the community. I just knew that it was needed. It was definitely needed from my experiences in the car, speaking to people, then that woman, then that young lassie, and I just set it up. I set up a Facebook page. I got it out there, social media. A good friend, Callum, I don't know if you know young Callum Hutchison, a boy Callum, for the harm reduction unit, gave me a wee plug on his Twitter page, and it managed to set it managed to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And then we just started a walk and talk. We met every Sunday at 6 o'clock, and we done a wee walk in Glasgow Green,
Uh-huh.
and it's just went for there, to be honest.
Brilliant. And tell me then, so it was born out of a sense of duty then and responsibility to your local community, and also, am I right in saying it came from a sort of place of, oh my God, I can help people here, like I actually helped that, whether you did save that lassie's life or no, she certainly thinks she did. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? And
yeah,
all you did was show up, right? All you
yeah.
did was you were alert, you were attuned, you were present, you were in the moment, you knew there was something wrong, and you listened to your instinct about that young lassie. So, do you know where she is now?
I don't actually. I don't actually know who she is, man. Nah, I never heard her again. And it takes somebody. It takes like somebody like yourself to reflect that back to me, to actually like take that on board. Do you know what I mean? That was a really special moment, and for that day on, like I just what you said, man. I just felt that if I could give somebody a bit of hope, do you know what I mean? If I could be the same example that my pal was to me, and I could just turn up for my community, I thought it's the least I could do. And it was like after it was a big part of my amends process, Anne-Marie. It's been a huge part because for what I got up to,
Yeah.
in my community, it's maybe a wee amends to my community to say like, let's come and try and come on this journey together. And some special things have happened on the journey, Anne-Marie, on in the walk and talk group. And what I get introduced to a boy that came introduced. We get introduced to cold water therapy, which
Yeah.
I was bang against it. Like I was like no way and stuff. And uh, the boy was actually on the feed there. I went to cold water therapy, and then we started a wee cold water group, like branching off the walk and talk group.
Uh-huh.
And a guy, he was on the live there. A boy Graham, it was that boy Graham that was watching.
Uh-huh.
He came and he became a huge part of the group where he'd been doing cold water therapy for a few years, and he talked us through it, and he spoke about the how the positivity it gave him, the way it cleared his head and stuff like that. And that's been huge now, Anne-Marie, as well. People are coming on a Sunday and we go cold water. We now do cold water every Sunday. A group of boys, we get into the cold water. There's encouragement, there's positivity, there's unity, there's a sense of connection there where for a long time that was missing for me. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And there's something special that happens. Like, we usually get our connection with football, all that stuff. No, like the manly stuff, like go to football and shouting ball and football training and football. Like, but see, this is different because it's pure positive.
Yeah.
And the guy Graham always says it never lets you down. It's
Yeah.
like on you go. Sorry.
No, no, I think I've sussed it out what went wrong on Facebook. Would you mind coming
Yes.
earlier back there
No.
again?
No. No.
Have you got like another 25 minutes? Would
I've
that be
I've
right?
got I've got as much time as you want, Anne-Marie.
Right, brilliant. I'm going to add you now on that again.
Right.
Brilliant, Scott. Thank you.